For Robotics and Automated Systems Level 2, known as RAS2, the students will do some 3D modeling. They will do some coding on the, and it's Arduino-based coding. And then they'll do some robotic arm challenge. So really fun program for the students. Looking at the hardware requirements, the students, usually this is run with Robotics and Automation Level 1, so they'll be building the robot. But if not, then they just get a built robot and they're working with that. Usually it's 2 students to 1 robot, and that's what we recommend. The school will need to provide extra tablets or Chromebooks or phones, so we're not worried about the device, but we do recommend that it does need to be Android compatible, so Google Play Store. The reason for that is MIT App Inventor, which the students learn in Robotics and Automated Systems Level 1, and they will use in that robotic arm challenge. iPhone locks, or Apple locks down, Bluetooth locks down all those functions. So MIT App Inventor 2 doesn't function properly. You can load the app, but it can't go talk to the robot. So so it needs to be Android compatible, and it supports Chromebooks, and that's what we recommend. What we've seen some schools do is provide the students with, or the teacher with 4 Chromebooks for the classroom, not the same as the student devices, and those just stay in that classroom, and they're sort of the test target device. USB charging hubs are recommended. Magnetic sweeps are recommended, just to pick up spare parts that fell down or got lost. The USB charging hub, we've seen some Chromebooks that can't really charge the robot. They just don't quite have the power for whatever reason, and it's sort of a trickle charge, takes forever. So we recommend plugging into a wall with a hub. For whitelisting, the devices need to be online, so on Wi-Fi, preferably the same Wi-Fi as the student devices, so that they can talk to each other when they're loading their apps. No installation requirement on the teacher and student devices, but MIT App Inventor 2 Companion needs to be on the target device, those testing devices. And then also STEMI Lab app needs to be on those target devices. Those can also be put on the student devices, but where they're doing their LMS, where they're accessing their curriculum and they're doing their coding, those apps don't have to be on there. It could be just on those target devices if that's easier. There's some instructions on how to install. There's some ideas on testing. The other thing the students will do is that STEMI app will load code to the robot. So the students are on their IDE coding on STEMI Lab on their editor. Then they then connect to the app, so using a QR code, and then the app pushes the code to the robot. So that's how we use it. There's some instructions in there that demonstrate that. We recommend trying to do it with the student credentials and making sure it works, and you'll get some instructions in the guide. For sites and domains to whitelist, milestonec.com for surveys and feedback. Lab.stemi.education is their LMS, and that's where they access their curriculum. STEMI.education, they may need some info about the LMS. And then the coding platform is editor.stemi.education, so that they'll need that opened up and they'll have to work with it. YouTube.com, that we do tutorial videos embedded in the curriculum, and they'll need to reference those. Onshape is an online 3D modeling program, so they need to create accounts, which requires an email from Onshape. So for high school students, we haven't seen any issues with that. If you are using this with middle school students, that can be a bit of a headache. We have some workarounds for that, so let us know. But that's their 3D modeling program is onshape.com. Thingiverse is a repository and we teach them to use that and look at it, and they can do uploads on it. And it's a repository for 3D modeled objects, so it's one of the biggest out there, and you can go search out whatever object you want to print and then print it. So that's part of their lesson. Modelo.io, this is a 3D model repository, so it's more of the making things look good from your model, so taking the right pictures. So we're teaching the students how to do that in a proper way. We also use Bitly to redirect them sometimes. If you can't open that up, let us know. We can provide the files behind there separately to the teacher. And then we do teach them GitHub. If you prefer not to open up GitHub, we know that's sometimes a headache. We can work around that with the teachers and keep that closed. But we do try to teach them these industry tools as part of their learning to code. Is we teach them the industry tools like GitHub. That's it for Robotics and Automated Systems Level 2. Let us know if you have any questions.